Hey all, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well this morning. We got some news. There's some breaking shit happening. You guys know when there's breaking shit happening, I like to come in and figure it out with you guys in real time. And in fact, there is some crazy stuff right now where actually Dallas, Texas, there was a sniper, and this sniper started taking shots at an ICE transport van. At first, it was unclear who was injured, what the intentional motive behind this might be. So I didn't jump on right away. Now we have a lot more to go on. They did like a sniper ambush type thing on this van. They ended up hitting 3 people, none of which were ICE agents. They actually hit detainees, which is horrific. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if these people had due process or not, if they were in the country legally, illegally. I don't know if that was determined. It really doesn't matter because it should not be a death sentence to come into this country. You should get deported if you came in the country illegally. But it turns out they weren't the actual target. It turns out that there was the FBI found shell casings with anti-ICE carved into the shell casings. And this has already blown up into a big political thing. Vice President J.D. Vance shared that there was the obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in this attack and their families. Now, that doesn't seem like a generally divisive statement to me. That doesn't seem like something that needs to be controversial. He said we need to stop killing cops and attacking cops. These attacks on law enforcement aren't okay. And that he's praying for everyone involved. And Jon Favreau, the dipshit that he is, came in and said the vice president is not a reliable source of information. This is now the 5th or 6th time he's posted a political take contradicted by facts. I don't feel like that was a political take. I don't feel like at what point in this country did it become a political take that you shouldn't fucking shoot at law enforcement, dog? Like, when did that become a political take? That should just be common sense. Like, if you're not mentally retarded, you should understand that. And then he said that he's praying for everyone involved. None of that shit sounds like a political take to me, but J.D. Vance responded to Jon Favreau, saying the gunman had anti-ICE messaging carved on the bullets he used. What precisely did I get wrong, dipshit? And that's the vice president calling this dude a fucking dipshit on X. Donut operator said, I voted for this, dipshits. Tectone said, just called the doctor and told him I've been on a caloric deficit for about 2 months now. Wow, that has absolutely nothing to do. Go. Brandon Herrera said, this is weapons grade cope. Yeah, so they literally have carved into these shell casings that they found anti-ICE. Now, it is reported, the last report that I heard was that there was at least one of these detainees is dead. So you went there to kill ICE agents in support of detainees, and you killed and injured detainees. You're a weapons grade fucktard. You are a monumental, colossal piece of shit who can't even accomplish the ass fuckery that you're trying to accomplish. Instead, you go directly against your own imperative, you absolute cuck. And then, of course, like a coward, he offed himself. He took himself off the stage. So let's see a little bit about what was said about this whole situation and dive into this. But I wanted to give you guys the breaking news and what I thought was funny. I thought that was kind of funny, the exchange between Jon Favreau and J.D. Vance and a couple of our favorite streamers or content creators who jumped in.
Also told me that it was actually 3 people that were transported and that 2 of them have died. And then obviously the shooter is also dead.
All right. Well, we're going to continue to get different perspectives from people. We have Cole Sullivan. Is he on the phone or is he in the newsroom? He's in the newsroom this morning. Okay, Cole, good morning. What do you have for us?
Good morning. Well, I wanted to give a little bit of additional context. We saw in that live shot from Janelle there where she was standing. I was actually at this ICE detention facility earlier this summer for a scheduled protest, a peaceful protest at that facility. And to give you a little bit of context, I think probably anybody who's driven on 35E through this section just north of downtown has actually driven past this ICE facility, whether you have known it or not. It is a pretty nondescript building, maybe 1 or 2 stories, set a little bit back from that access road there. You can see in that live shot, just about probably half a block further up the road is where that ICE detention facility is. And when we were there for that scheduled protest, there were a lot of law enforcement officers there too, to make sure that everything went smoothly. It turned out not that many people showed up. There have been regularly scheduled protests outside this ICE facility on Mondays for a number of months now, part of the ongoing protests about...
So wait, you're telling me in Texas, where they have a lot more people that have come across the border, they only have Monday scheduled protests, but in fucking Portland, Oregon, where there's way less people that have come across the border illegally, they have been going nonstop for well over 100 days now. Day and night, 24 hours, they have been doing these protests. That tells me that we don't really have an issue with ICE. We have a problem with these Antifa retards. When are we going to actually start doing something about these Antifa retards? I really need to know this. So they've been designated as a terror group. They're a domestic terror group. We have a terror group living amongst us in our country. When do we start doing something about it? When do they start rounding some of these morons up? When do they start getting some of these people up and off of our streets? Why is this taking so long? I want to see these people swooped on. Am I the only one? Let me know in the comments if you're tired of having just terrorists, people that have been deemed terrorists, that are doing these type of acts. You know, I think that it's very easily relatable that Charlie Kirk is dead because of one of these morons. Now we've had this where they're just like laying in wait to snipe, ambush, law enforcement officers and end up just killing innocent people that aren't even the intended target. Is this the straw? Is this where we start rounding these fucking morons up? Are you guys sick of this? Let me know in the comments. Plasma Owl said, I'm extra thankful the gun I ordered arrived yesterday. Yes. Stay strapped, y'all. It is weird out there. Let's see. Tired of it. Antifa. Been sick of it. I'm just fatigued with the fucking bullshit, bro. I'm fatigued with people's absolute inability to see things for what they are. And the narratives that are being spun now, it just is so far strewn from reality. And they're just doing backflips and they're literally fucking people up because there's so many people out there that I don't know if they're just mentally deficient or if they're just bored and desperate or if they need to be in asylums. But these people need to be off our streets. Hicka, huge love to you, family. I appreciate you. Big love and respect. That support goes a long way, homie. Let's see more with what's going on over here.
About immigration enforcement activities across the country we have seen here, but obviously nothing like this before. We heard Rebecca a few moments ago talk about where exactly this shooting may have taken place, with potentially a bus of detainees being unloaded in a sally port area. That's that kind of foyer transition area between the outside and the inside of a detention facility called a sally port. That would be on the south side of this ICE detention facility.
Team Jesus said, I'm tired of community activism altogether. And here's the thing, I support people's right to peacefully protest, but this is not what that is, and you're never going to fucking gaslight us into thinking that that's what that is ever again. Because they're killing people just for speaking out now. They're killing people for doing their jobs. And you know what it reminds me of? Honestly, it reminds me, Ralph Wiggum, Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons' son? He's kind of mentally slow. I'm helping. they remind me of that dude, man. Like, they're just too stupid for fucking words, and they get in their own way, but they think they're the good guy. They think they're doing something when they go out there and spit on cops and light people's cars on fire and tear people's businesses down. COVID broke brains, bro. Just something about COVID altogether, like not even necessarily, whoa, where did my shit go? There we go. Not even necessarily the whole fucking just being on lockdown. Maybe it was the lockdown, maybe it was partially that in the jab and all the boosters, but these people's brains are damaged. Their brains aren't working. Intellectual iconoclasm. Stay strapped and clap back is the modern day translation. A well-regulated militia. Hell yeah, fam. Drader. Sounds like you need some racist fave drink to help with all the lives and videos you've been doing. As for certain people, just follow the money. Maybe use your camo to see where it's coming from. Yeah, that. So for those of you who don't know, I just released a video. A blue-haired, septum ring-adorned barista at Starbucks was immediately fired because somebody ordered a Mint Majesty with 2 honeys, which was Charlie Kirk's favorite drink. He used to get them because he talked so much at his Turning Point events that it would help soothe his throat so he wouldn't sound like me. And so a lady ordered one at Starbucks, and the barista wrote racist favorite drink on it. The lady took it to the manager, and that dumbass bitch was immediately fired. As she ought to be. Truly as she should be. Yo, Steven Smith, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. I feel like we are way behind on this, so we are going to jump up and maybe get some of this information. Let's see. Oh, Ted Cruz. Let's see what's going on. Let's hear from some law enforcement officials on this. I feel like cops in cowboy hats know stuff. We want to hear from the cop in the cowboy hat here. All right, here we go. Let's check.
What I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack. If any member of the public has information that would help the FBI's investigation, I would ask that you please report that to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, any piece of information will be helpful, but this will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone responsible is held accountable. With that, I will turn it over to my counterpart from the ICE Enforcement and Removal Office.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the acting field office director for ICE Dallas. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to start off by saying thank you to the Dallas Police Department, Dallas FBI, HSI, CBP, ETF, and virtually every law enforcement officer in North Texas for your support.
I really like cops in cowboy hats. I think more cops should wear cowboy hats, dude. I really think that's the movement. I think they'd get more respect if they were wearing cowboy hats.
This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities. And I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We really
So if you want to do something about it, start having the FBI look into these Antifa idiots, start going to their homes, scooping them out of their houses, and charging them. There are charges there. They've just been letting this shit slide because for the last 4 years, these were the people that were promoted. These were the people, the Antifa is the weapon of the left. They are the super indoctrinated, drank all the fucking Kool-Aid, have a new cause every week. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Ukraine, Palestine, trans, fucking, every single day it's another thing, and they're putting another fucking flag in their bio and another pronoun in their fucking bio. These people are all the way cooked out. Get them off the streets. Send them for mental health evaluations. I guarantee you, very few of these people are going to pass a mental health evaluation. You're going to be able to keep them.
Appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much. As it was said here today, if you do have any information, reach out to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you. Thank you.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong.
You can say it all day. These people don't want to listen. They killed the dude that just wanted to fucking talk to them and find middle ground and balance. Getting on here and talking and saying this needs to stop, that's masturbatory. You're literally taking a number 3 into the microphone. Come out and say, hey, we need the FBI to get the fuck in here and get these people off the fucking streets. That's what it's going to take to make it stop. You're not going to appease these people with fucking words, my guy. They want people with common sense. They want people that disagree with them fucking dead. And I'm not talking about normal moderate Democrats. I'm talking about these Antifa pieces of shit. Get them off the fucking streets, bro. Make your community safe. Tell the FBI, get the fuck in here, man. Henry, Defense and Customs. Yo, what's up, Lucas? No hate like liberal tolerance, huh? Absolutely not, my guy. Snap69. My son is in jail for 30 years. At 30 years old because of drugs. Seeing what you have done, turning your life around gives me hope for him. Well, let me just be really, really honest with you. I kept running and gunning until I was 40. It took me till I was 40 to realize that I needed to stop and to be done. So please never give up hope. As long as the person is still breathing, there is still hope they'll turn their lives around. Alex said, we need to let non-violent felons vote. We need to change the system, and it starts with votes. Well, it doesn't matter if your felony is violent or not, Alex. In the majority of states, the vast majority of states, felons can vote, whether their felonies are violent or not. Like, they've even changed it in Florida now. So there's very few states where felons can't vote. Tennessee is one of those states where if you have a violent felony, though, you can't vote. But non-violent felons can get their voting rights restored in Tennessee. But the overwhelming majority of states, there's some states that even allow you to vote while you're in prison, which is wild to me. They bring you your voter registration in your cell or some shit. That's crazy. Vlad the Imp, JD, you're a boss. Thanks for keeping it real. Love you, homie. I appreciate you. All you despise. Had AI dig up info for the suspect arrested in 2015 and 2016 for selling drugs, deleted his Facebook page, which was full of Antifa and communism. Not shocked. Not shocked at all. He had Antifa shit carved, anti-ICE, anti-immigration shit carved into the shell casings. Thank you, all you despise. That's lit. Well played. Lucas said, from what I saw, the shooter used a Mauser, probably an 8mm. Okay. See, you guys are catching all the stuff that I haven't caught yet. I'm still waking up. I don't know if y'all can tell. I'm a little bit rusty this morning because I haven't had my caffeine intake. Rick said, JD, I know this isn't the place to say it, but I don't know where else to say it. I need to get it out. I fell off the wagon a couple weeks ago. Ricks, here's the thing. That can either be something that's disastrous and you keep running with it and it determines your path in a negative way, or it could be a speed bump that you turn into a learning experience and nothing that you learn from is ever wasted. It seems to me that if you hit some point where you took a step backwards instead of a step forwards, there was something in your path that needs to be adjusted. go back, reevaluate the map, and get yourself right back on track, bro. There's no shame in a relapse. There's only shame in dwelling in it. It's okay to fuck up. It's not okay to let yourself continue to fuck up. We're all human, bro. We're all human. It's okay. Give yourself grace and love. Just get back up, dust your ass off, get right back up on that wagon, bro. I love you. Anthony Cavasso! My dog! What's up, man? Anthony said, I've been talking to my therapist about the state and division of this country. What happened to Charlie Kirk was horrible. Losing my faith in humanity. He's helping me to not focus too much on that and just focus on my life and family. Hey, and you know what? Like all this shit, while it might affect us in a slight level, for the majority of us, this doesn't affect our daily lives. So it's important to keep that in mind, keep it in perspective, and to keep yourself grounded in exactly what you're saying, your family and your life. It's good to be educated about these things, but if it starts to affect your mental health, back away from it. Give yourself some breathing room. Eat some ass, touch some grass, do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I love you, dog. Hell yeah to going to a therapist. Hell yeah to processing that shit in a healthy way. Hell yeah to being a man and knowing when, hey man, I might need some help here. I respect the shit out of you, dog. I love you, man. J Bird visual art. Big appreciate it. Drip Coffee. Glad to catch a live stream. Saw you on Pepperbox. There's not enough people talking about Seattle and Portland. Much love from another Mossback. What is up, homie? Hell yeah. Well, since I'm out here on the West Coast, it's pretty easy to talk about, man, because I'm right here. And we are Antifa infected. Drader said, with the order signed, it is certain that Antifa has a special group looking at them. They have a group that goes harder than Delta. And that's what I'm waiting for, Drader. I'm just waiting to see this shit actually happen. Living out here where it's so fucking prevalent. I just want to see it get done. You know what I'm saying? But I do think you're right, especially with these violent attacks. Like, keep doing these violent attacks, you mental midgets. Keep doing this. How far do you think you're going to push before your doors start getting kicked? Before things start happening that you're really not going to like, Trev, on way to the doctor, can't mod, but I'll be listening. You good, Trev? We're not that big today. We're just hanging out. We're kicking it. I got this all in my onesie, bro. It was so early. I didn't even want to ask anybody to mod this early, bro. You know what I'm saying? Demi Fiend. Hi, JD. I tend to disagree with some of your takes. Fair. Understandable. I'm not always right. And I'll admit that. And we can still love each other and agree to disagree. But as someone in recovery and as a substance use counselor, I just wanted to say I appreciate your support for recovery. I wish you the best. Hey, thank you for fighting the good fight. Thank you for being in this. We need everybody in this that we could possibly get. And everybody, I'm sure as you know, in recovery, we're all in this together, homie. You don't have to agree with some of my takes. I will go back and go, damn, man, that wasn't my best take. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fallible human and I'm not egotistical and I try to keep it humble. I can be wrong. And I love it when people can agree to disagree and we can stay respectful, or even when people change my mind all the time, bro. I'm flexible. Christopher Markins. Hey, JD. I'm a over-the-roads truck driver, and I'm scared for the way America is going. I want to voice my opinions, but I'm scared of putting my family at risk. I'm not home, so I don't say anything because of the risk. And that's the problem here, you guys. Like what Chris is saying is such a quintessential issue that we have in our country where people are afraid to speak their mind and to be able to voice their opinions because of terrorism, like what's going on with this shit with Charlie Kirk, with this Antifa attack this morning on ICE, where these people were trying to kill ICE agents and they killed detainees. They killed illegal immigrants who may or may not have even been processed yet. They might have been coming right back out to the streets. We don't even know if they had their due process. But they'll never get that because this demented shooter was like, I'm helping, I'm an activist. And he got up on a building and started shooting. I understand the fear for your family, bro. I'm sorry that you have to feel that. That's absolutely fucked. Data Rogue, new shirt idea, eating ass and touching grass. My mama would kill me, bro. My mama is an elderly Christian lady. She'd be so mad, bro. All you despise, eat ass and touch grass. JD Elation 69247. I love you guys, man. I love you guys so much. You guys are the shit. Pin King went back to church after 20 years because of Charlie, learning that some of the things is based on some part of the Bible without me knowing it. Absolutely, dude. 57% uptick in people going to church after Charlie Kirk was shot. And I can't think of a single thing that would honor Charlie more than that. I can't think of a single thing that would make him happier. That's his legacy. You know, these people on the left are like, he's not a martyr. He's not going to change anything. He already has. He's already won, you dumb bitches. He already won. What he wanted was to open dialogue and conversations. He's done that across the entire world. There are people in Korea who are standing for Charlie Kirk. There are people in the UK who are standing for Charlie Kirk. It was all over the planet. And now there's been a 57% uptick in people going to church, which was another one of his main things. He wanted to help inspire people and bring them to the Lord. He won, bro. And the people who are saying that he'll never affect anything are some of the most irrelevant people. Like, their cats don't even give a fuck about them, bro. Like, legitimately, their cats don't fucking care about them. So it's a wild fucking assertion. Dominar, recovering? Always bear in mind that your own resolution to success is more important than any other one thing. Abraham Lincoln. Dog, why do you always got the fire, bro? Do you guys like my Taylor Swift shirt? Taylor Swift. I don't know any of her music. I just saw a black metal Taylor Swift shirt, and I was like, yeah, that's $5. I'm gonna spend $5 on that and cut the sleeves off. Taylor Swift. Fuck yeah. All right, so let's jump back in here and hear a little bit more of what Ted Cruz is saying. I know that I completely and totally immediately cut him off. I just get mad because we do so much fucking talking, and I want to see action. I'm tired of it.
It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop.
He's not wrong, but they're not going to listen because they get clicks and views off the shit. If you're a politician and you're calling for illegal shit to happen to law enforcement, immediately stripped from office. Immediately fucking stripped from office, probably put in fucking jail.
This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe.
Okay, so that actually was fire. That actually was fire. I clown Ted Cruz a lot because he is an absolute fucking puppet for Israel. He has his head so far up fucking Netanyahu's ass, and he is so funded by AIPAC. But that actually, we have to stop calling each other Nazis over political disagreements. I think that you should have some sort of like fucking, I think that if you're an American politician and you're calling somebody from the opposite party a Nazi or a fascist, I think that you should have some sort of punitive punishment for that, dog. Because that is a call to violence. That is an incitement. They know what they're doing with their mentally ill, fucked off fan base with that, bro. They need to Ilhan Omar doesn't just need to be fired. Deport that bitch, bro. Deport that bitch.
The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences. I hope that every one of us will pray, number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe.
I fucking hate that I'm agreeing with Ted Cruz this much, dog. But like, look, man, what Ted Cruz is doing here is he's calling for an end of the violence. He's trying to bring down the temperature. And the left keeps trying to bring the temperature the fuck up, which is crazy because they are not capable people with violence. Does anybody in the chat think that the left, if it came down to some sort of a combative actual war situation where the right was like, enough is enough and we're fighting back, does anybody think that the left would be able to fucking take the right? I'm sorry. It's not happening. It's not happening, bro. Everybody's laughing at me for asking. You're laughing at me for asking. How do they think they're going to win, dog? How do they think they're capable? They're not combat ready. They're not even ready to fucking go into public unless they're doing some sort of a protest where they just fuck shit up. But I hate that I'm agreeing with Ted Cruz so much because it's like agreeing with fucking Israel, dog. He's a puppet. No, 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 no. Hey. Fuck, man. Holy shit. So Gary's metal detecting said the left is now having a radicalized tantrum because they lost the big woke blue fight. Brother, this tantrum is, it's not going to end well. You know what happens to kids when they have tantrums? This is what happens when you don't spank your kids, you guys. This is what happens when you don't punish your kids at all whatsoever. I never had to spank any of my kids. I had to be spanked when I was a kid. And I probably should have got spanked more. Honestly. But yeah, they're acting like ridiculous children. This account, that's what's up. Hell yeah. Your mama. This is a word that the left doesn't want. They don't. They do not want this shit. Stop calling everyone on the right a Nazi. It empowers these twisted kids to up a gun, and they think they're justified in killing us. That's what it is. And honestly, there should be repercussions for any politicians on the left, any media on the left or the right that are using words on either side that are using words that incite violence like that. Seth just saw the Swiftie shirt. Taylor Swift! Ha! I love y'all. We're having fun this morning. This is fun. Jason Kelboy. I respect you, the Alaskan Avenger, Charlie Kirk. Love from Scotland. Bring back Jason V, who made the vid on the poem I wrote about him. Hell yeah, man. I think he's got like 3 or 4 more days that YouTube has him banned for trying to protect children. YouTube banned him for trying to protect children. Wildly inappropriate, bro. What the fuck? Lucas, can we deport AOC, the Blue Crew, too, and Hillary? I mean, like, here's the thing, is when you're talking about, what's her name? Ilhan Omar, the fucking Omar. She's a Somalian fucking refugee, dog. Or maybe she wasn't a refugee. She got here by marrying her brother. Her and her brother both need to be deported. Take them back to Somalia. She has straight up said that her main allegiance is to Somalia. Bitch, get out. fucking leave. This account, again, that's what's up. Hell yeah. Dominar, people in the USA. Alone we could do little, together we could do much. Helen Keller. Helen had some fire, dog. Ligma Johnson. The name, bro, Ligma Johnson. Who else is done with both sides are violent? I think it's pretty obvious where the violence is coming from at this point. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I denounce political violence on either side, but one side is very obviously perpetrating more acts of violence more often, and they're really fucking bad at it. Like this attack this morning on ICE agents to, I'm going to defend the immigrants, and then kills immigrants. Doesn't hurt a single fucking ICE agent, kills immigrants. I mean, it's kind of a one-sided thing at this point, bro. Jason Holmes, all media and politicians and teachers calling us Nazi, racist, fascists should be held legally liable for this. They caused it, in my opinion. I think they do have culpability, for sure. Lucas said, libs lose in hours without their soy lattes. God damn it, soy lattes. Seth said, JD the Swiftie. Hell yeah. Bro, I just thought this shit was hilarious, bro. That shit's just funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. JCC, hello, JD. Do you think we can solve this division in our country? Thank you for your time, and God bless you, your family, and viewers. I love you, JCC. God bless you as well. Here's what I think it's going to take to heal the division. You're going to have to break some eggs to make that omelet, bro. There's going to be some people that need to have real serious consequences for their incitements. These people who are inciting violence, people that are in the media, people that are, on social media, people like Destiny and Hassan Piker need to go to fucking jail. They are blatantly inciting violence. They need to go to fucking jail. Any politician who is trying to say things that are incitements of violence against American people, law enforcement, their political rivals, straight to jail. Hands down, flat out, straight to jail. As long as they're continually out here pumping out nonstop propaganda and rhetoric, it's going to make it a lot harder. So the answer is lock them the fuck up. Take away their platform, take away their stage. And I'm not talking about just people that are on the left or the right. I'm talking about people on either side who are instigating and inciting violence. Mr. House, Governor Newsom sucks dick. Yeah, I can't stand that fucking dude, man. He's just slimy. I love Spencer Pratt and the way Spencer Pratt has made it his life's mission to fucking dissect and disassemble Gavin Newsom politically. I think it's just, dude, Spencer is a G for that. And I don't even know who the fuck that dude is. I guess he was on some reality TV show on MTV. I never watched that shit. But I'm down with what he's doing. Adam Wolford. It's the GNOME plan. Steal socks, step 1. Skip step 2. Never mind step 3, winning. They don't have the brain power to see that far. Yeah, they're just fucking themselves up the ass, dude. Which, I mean, if you're into fucking yourself up the ass and your dick is that dexterous, you're that flexible, maybe you have an Olympic-style U-turn dick, that's cool if it's your thing. I'm not kink shaming here. But what they're doing is just fucking retarded. DJ Hundley, what's up, man? Is that your dog? What a good-looking dog, brother. Plasma Owl, someone got detained by cops at my workplace for getting loud and angry with employees just now. And again, beautiful dog, brother. Hell yeah. Well, I hope you're safe. Stay safe. Make sure to stay frosty because sometimes these mental midgets come back with bad intentions and something in their hand. It's not likely that the cops are going to keep them detained for long. This account, some are showing class and restraint, 100. Ted Cruz is showing class and restraint. And I'm shocked. I'm legitimately shocked to agree with Ted Cruz. Henry Defense and Customs. Bring back outlaw status for domestic terrorist groups. Remove all protections from them under the law, since clearly they don't want to live under it. Fair. I mean, we still have to keep, everybody has the constitutional right to due process regardless. But, we need to have stronger things in place for domestic terrorism in this country, I think. Christopher Markins. Violence is never the answer. The left attacking the right is horrible. If we attack the left, they'll cry wolf and play victims. So I'm not saying that political violence is the answer, but violence is often the answer, my guy. I'm not saying politically, but, historically speaking, in situations where there's a balance for power, where there's a struggle, violence is almost always the answer. This is not the type of situation in which violence should be fucking called for, though. Political violence is trash.
And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
Senator Cruz calling for peace across the aisle. Wild days that we live in, you guys. This is really important. Scotty Too Hottie said, I felt safer in Iraq. Fuck, brother. That is a heavy statement. That is a palpable and heavy statement for you to have to make, that you felt safer in Iraq. I'm sorry for the state of our country, my friend. Jason Kelly said, Kelly Boy said, Incest Omar's brother also married a man. Not shocked, bro. Not shocked. Alex Beck. Gavin Moosecum. Ugh, Moosecum. That gave me a cummy ache just reading it, bro.
Have you been told that immigrant detainees were the victims of today's shooting?
My understanding is the details of who the victims are still being ascertained, so I don't want to go ahead of law enforcement releasing these details. What they have said is that no law enforcement was injured, and so that's a natural inference, but I don't know the details.
Special Agent, can you talk a little bit about some of the evidence you mentioned earlier, just for clarity? I think there should be a lot of questions. Our understanding is that some of the shell cases had specific writing that was relevant to the voting. Give us more information.
So I'm not going to go into any more details at this time. We will come back to you when we have more details to share. Again, our goal here will be transparency as those details become available, but we are still in the early stages of an investigation. Information is still coming in. When we have more details, we will come back to this group.
Okay, so what I want to do actually is I want to try to get something that is more up to date, because this is a live that I think ran out a little bit ago, and I wanted to get some of what these statements were, but I want to actually, let's give you guys an actual idea of what happened for those of you who have joined since we've talked about this. And then let's look for newer information. This looks like it was 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 1 hour ago. Here, this is exactly what I want, actually. Yeah. Hold on.
News out of Dallas, Texas. All of this connected to a shooting there at a Dallas ICE facility. I do want to take you out to a live look that we do have. This is an aerial image that is coming in from our Fox 4 Dallas team as they fly overhead. A very active scene still hours and hours later. Here is what we know so far. At least one detainee fatally shot at that ICE facility. 2 others.
Electric Ninja said Dallas shooter named Josh John, far left Antifa member, 29 years old, from Fairview, Texas. Yeah, absolutely. This is 100%. I hope this is the straw that breaks the camel's back and that they actually start going after these Antifa pieces of shit. Full-chested. We need full-chest federal involvement coming after these Antifa fucking... Let's stop calling them activists. They're terrorists. Like, legally, they're designated as terrorists now. So let's have the feds come in and handle fucking business.
Wounded by a sniper on a nearby rooftop. That information coming from Dallas police and the FBI, giving an update after some confusion over the number of dead, saying that 2 people are deceased, and that does include the shooter. They are very focused on this vehicle that you see right there on your screen. It is parked right next to a staircase of sorts that does lead to the roof of one of the buildings right there near that ICE facility. One thing I want to do is pop this up on your screen. We showed this just a bit earlier, but it was posted by Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, and you can see bullet casings. Now, officials did explain that the shooter was on the rooftop of a nearby building and opened fire, reportedly into a van that was transporting ICE detainees. The FBI, during a news conference, confirming this was, quote, an act of targeted violence, and that those anti-ICE messages were found on the shell casing. Again, you see it right there on your screen.
So for those of you who can't see it, because I know that it's probably a little smaller on that screen, it says anti-ICE right there on these shell casings. Very clear and present message. I just got a text message from my good friend Jumpsuit Pablo, who said and sent me a screenshot of this, which you probably won't be able to see, but it says YouTube featured next to the live, which I think means maybe that YouTube is actually pushing me out a little bit more and supporting me a little bit more, which would be wonderful. I'd love that because, TikTok loves to ban me. I'm on my 8th ban over there. If YouTube is actually trying to help me succeed, I know they succeed when I succeed. That would be actually cool. Big love and respect to Jumpsuit Pablo. Back to this. So there's no questions here. We know that it says anti-ICE on the shell casing. We know that his Facebook he deleted, but there was a vast history of him posting leftist Antifa propaganda. Let's go after him. Let's fucking go after him. Mr. Friendly, anti-ICE, that's a bit generic. Nobody said these people are well-balanced, original, or creative people. These are people who fall for anything, my guy.
As you look to the second one there from the right, it does say in blue, anti-ICE. Police say that they were alerted. It was around 6:40 a.m. local time this morning to reports of that shooting at that ICE facility in Dallas. Investigators adding that the sniper died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head as law enforcement approached. Now, we do not have any information so far about the shooter, the sniper here, who was involved in this attack. Again,
hey, just real quick, I just feel like I really want to say this to the detainees that were killed or shot, wounded, killed, everyone that was in that van. My heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to your families. This is horrific. I do support people that are in our country illegally getting due process. And if they're found to be here illegally, being removed. I never want to see them harmed. I never want to see them. This is despicable behavior. Their targets were ICE agents, but I never want to see any of these people being harmed, man. This is fucking horrific. And, the shooter took himself out like the coward he was. But this is just fucked up, man.
And here is what we know. 1 ICE detainee has died, 2 others critically injured, and the suspect also dead. We also have this post coming in just a short time ago here from Secretary Kristi Noem with the Department of Homeland Security. It says, for months, we've been warning politicians and the media to tone down their rhetoric about ICE law enforcement before someone was killed. These horrendous killings must serve as a wake-up call to the far left that their rhetoric about ICE has consequences, comparing ICE day in and day out to the Nazi Gestapo, the secret police, and slave patrols has consequences. The men and women of ICE are fathers and mothers, sons and daughters. They get up every morning to try and make our community safer. Like everyone else, we just want to go home to our families at night. The violence and dehumanization of these men and women who are simply enforcing the law must stop.
So, I find it fucked up when I'm agreeing with Kristi Noem too. But I'm absolutely agreeing with Kristi Noem on all of this. They're 100% right. These people are being incited towards this. I want to address something. Somebody said, aren't we allowed to go after them since they're declared terrorists? I don't believe that American citizens are allowed to make the determination without due process who is and who is not a terrorist. I want to just let you know full stop right now. If you're thinking about going after people that you believe to be Antifa, you will go to prison if you commit acts of violence. That's not the way that it's done. Even people that are terrorists in this country fall under, unless you see them committing an attack. If you see them committing an attack, do what you need to do. But just like if you see somebody posting "I am Antifa" on Facebook, you cannot go and attack them. That is going to get you in trouble. Another comment that I wanted to address, John Nick said, all ex-cons are still guilty. Well, I'm not an ex-con, you stupid, irreverent piece of shit. Nobody took my convictions away. I'm still guilty of the things that I did in my past, and I live a better life than you do now. So you could suck all of my freckled Irish dick, you fucking mental midget. Thank you, and have the worst day. Real quick, I want to jump in here because I know that we've got some people. Let's see. Last thing we heard was violence is never the answer. I think that when it comes to politics, violence is not the answer. I think that there's a lot of situations in which violence 100% can be the answer, my guy. Jason said, incest, Omar's brother also married a man. That's crazy, dog. That's crazy. Sal Diaz said, they should have pew-pew control for their own people. They've been causing a lot of pew-pew incidents. I am not a fan of any type of gun control. I think all gun laws are unconstitutional. Fight me if you want in the comments about it. I think all gun laws are unconstitutional. I don't think convicted felons should have their guns taken away. I don't think that the government, per the Constitution, has any right to take anybody's gun rights away. Because in the Constitution, it says that our gun rights are given to us by God, not by the government. So how is the government going to come in and restrict people's gun rights? Electric Ninja, Dallas shooter named. Joshua John, far left Antifa member, 29 years old, from Fairview, Texas. Yep. This account, all investigations are subject to change. And that is true. These are serious investigations with a lot of moving parts. So, I know that Kash Patel got a lot of shit, and I've given him shit for the sloppy handling of the Charlie Kirk investigation. But here's the thing that I do want to say in his defense, and I hate that I'm defending Kash Patel right now, because fuck you, dude. Release the fucking files and quit lying to the American people, you piece of shit. People trusted you. People actually had a little faith in you, and you fucked that off. You've done so much damage to people's ability to trust anybody in any of these agencies or any sort of government, you piece of shit. But I do want to defend him on this. I think that what he was doing was that he was trying, honestly, to come with more transparency with this so that he could show that he's genuinely trying. And I think that got him in some trouble because he spoke too soon on some shit. And that's part of the problem with transparency, is people don't understand the process in an investigation when it comes to an assassination or when it comes to, a sniper situation like this. The investigation process is a moving, living thing. And, things happen immediately, suddenly, out of nowhere that nobody was expecting. And it takes a lot to rein in and get the actual reality. Sometimes it's a process of elimination, especially when there's other people involved that are trying to cover up for the actual perpetrator, which is what we're 1000% what we saw with the Charlie Kirk shooting. And I believe that when the feds are done at the end of the day, I believe that everybody who was involved is going to get wrapped up. And it's going to be way more than just that dumb gay furry dude. Dominar said, everyone please remember, guns don't kill people. People kill people. And lately, it's been a whole lot of Antifa killing people. That's why we need the feds to come swoop their asses. Gary's metal detecting. Young, naive minds being fed blue Kool-Aid and radicalized. Absolutely. And they are absolutely trying to they're trying to do this. They're trying to incite this violence. There are politicians and media on the left that this is their goal. They're weaponizing these people by using words and ideologies, and then they step back, excuse me, after calling people Nazis and fascists and saying they're a threat to our democracy. And they say this shit over and over and over again, and they flip people's switches. And then when people do stuff, they go, oh man, I didn't know that would happen. Well, I didn't do it. Yes, the fuck you did. We're not stupid. We see what you're doing. Kane said Trump's ear, Charlie's neck, ABC guy hit nobody. This guy missed multiple times and hit detainees. Maybe the violence will stop when the left realize they can't fucking aim. Well, unfortunately, Charlie's not here with us, but you got a real good point on the rest of it, for sure. These people aren't good at violence is the problem. They want to take up arms, but they're not good at violence. So if it ever comes down to it, it's not going to be good, bro. They don't want what they're edging towards. This account, I like how you guys worked through this disaster with an open mind. You always have to be open-minded in these types of things, man. You always have to be open-minded. In most things in life, there's black and white and a bunch of shades of gray. And often where you find the truth is somewhere in that middle. So this account, I love you. I appreciate you. Seventh Lord, it's crazy what's happening in our country. It's absolutely crazy and it's unacceptable. And we need some strong interventions. And the left is really, if you think they're flipped out now, wait until the consequences of their actions come into play and these strong interventions that we need happen. They're really going to be flipping out then. So expect things to get even worse before things get better. When they start going and rounding up Antifa members, the left is really going to have a hissy fit. They're going to have a mantrum. They're going to lose their whole entire fucking minds then. But it needs to get worse before it gets better. Because these people aren't just going to lay down and go. I mean, you can make an example out of a few of them, and that'll definitely help. But the really radicalized ones, clearly, like we see with this dude who did this, he offed himself at the end. They're willing to die for this. That's how fucking retarded they are. Sal Diaz, I agree with you. Pew pew rights shouldn't be taken away. That's what the Democrats want. Let's start with their supporters who cause pew pew incidents. I think those people need to be in jail. I think that if you are too much of a risk to have your constitutional rights in an open society, you shouldn't be in that open society. That's my personal opinion, Sal. I love you, bro. JCC, sorry to bother, JD. You're never a bother, my man. This is what we're here for. This is a community. We love this communication. But have you thought about these recent shootings could be an MK Ultra type program? Because the more it happens, the more government can strip away our rights. Random thought. So I have thought for a long time that some of these shootings might be, kind of brought to happen so that they could strip us of our constitutional rights. And I think that a lot of the times, some of these people have been manipulated and misguided and indoctrinated strictly to incite these types of things, so they have more of an excuse to strip us of our guns so that we can end up like the UK, where motherfuckers are getting put in prison for 18 months for offensive Facebook posts, but child rapists are getting probation. There's a dude, has anybody in the chat, let me know right now in the chat, have any of you been watching the Scottish Korean and how he's speaking out against Sharia law and what's happening in the UK? He lives in the UK and he's speaking out about it. He's the dude who was on the news the other day with a piece of bacon, uncooked bacon on either side of his shoulder. He said it's terrorist repellent. He said that the Muslims hate the pork, so he calls it terrorist repellent. So I'm talking with that dude, the Scottish Korean, in the DMs. What an amazing dude. He's getting death threats nonstop. They've doxed his home address. They've doxed his family. all for speaking out against what's happening, the rapes and the murders and the crazy Sharia law shit that they're slowly integrating into UK. It's absolutely fucking crazy. I don't eat pork. It's not for religious reasons. I just like turkey bacon better because it's less fatty, and I'm trying to stay lean and, buffed up. But I'm ready to get a fucking bacon necklace, bro. I'm absolutely ready to get a bacon necklace. The UK, I hope that the UK is not beyond help. The UK needs help. JD, invite Jeffree Star in a live stream, please, and Tommy Robinson. Well, Kiki, I don't have their contact information. I mean, I could always hit up Bunny. She's good friends with Jeffree, and I could see if he wants to do a live stream. I would love to talk to Tommy. In fact, maybe I'll hit Tommy up on X and see if that's possible. I know that my friend Nick Shirley possibly has contact information. I would love to get him on and give him a platform to speak on here. I think that would be absolutely great.
We are praying for the victims and their families. Again, that statement here coming in from Secretary Kristi Noem with the Department of Homeland Security. Dan Bongino, the Deputy Director of the FBI, saying the FBI is fully engaged in conjunction with our state and federal law enforcement partners at the crime scene there in Dallas. Now, we also have some live looks here coming in from our different crews that are out there. This one a little bit kind of cutting in and out, but you can see just how many people do remain there on the scene as we are just hours removed from the situation. Do want to bring in Randy Sutton, retired police lieutenant and founder of the Wounded Blue, to discuss really everything that took place this morning. Randy, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Sure thing. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I do want to start by asking you kind of a broad question.
Hold on. So I haven't been seeing all the comments, but I did see Divine Sparks, sister, love you. Divine Sparks said that there's some trolls in here who need the binky. So if Divine Sparks says it, we're pulling out the binky. Anybody whose little potty bottom is hooded, if JD hooks you on your potty bottom, here's the binky. And I know that it goes out of focus. Just so you know, it says, JD hurt my feelings. And it has a little crying face on it. This is for you. Here, put this in your mau. In your little mau. Binky for the trolls. Binky for the haters. Suck my entire fucking dick, you fucking lames. Love you, sis. Thank you for letting me know that it was time for the binky. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, some people are having their little menstrual and they need their man puns. Let's hear what this dude has to say and see if he's worth watching. We might skip him.
Here, as we do have that news conference that took place just about an hour ago. We played it for our viewers live and uninterrupted. What do you make of the information overall that has been released and the information that has not been released?
Well, this is a very dynamic scene. You have a sniper, shooting at this ICE facility, and it's a very confusing scene. There's a lot of chaos going on, trying to figure out, is there one shooter? Is there two shooters? Who was hit? Dealing with the actual injuries of the individuals. As that is taking place, you're looking for, where is the threat at this particular moment? Now, they discovered very, very quickly the fact that the shooter, they located that shooter and found that he had neutralized himself. I don't know whether it was when he realized that law enforcement was approaching him or he did it prior to that. That's information we don't have yet. But the chaotic nature of this scene is very, very dynamic. You have multiple victims. You have the threat level that has to be ascertained and diminished as much as possible, and now you have the investigative process. But let's look at this from a different perspective. This was a targeted attack. If you look at the correlations between this and with suicide bombers, it's all about what level of violence was utilized. In this particular case, it was a rifle. What you saw from that photograph, those weren't shell casings. That was an actual clip from a semi-automatic rifle that is utilized for. Those are 223 rounds that are high-powered rifle rounds, and so the fact that was left there, that was a message. This is terrorism. This is terrorism at every level. The fact that he shot into the van, we're going to have to try and figure out, did he believe that was a transportation van transporting ICE officers? Because clearly his intent wasn't to kill detainees. His intent was to kill law enforcement officers from ICE. So, this is still in its very early stages, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
So somebody asked, where was that? Calamity Sammy said, hey, JD, is there any chance that this is Charlie Kirk's shooter's accomplice? I would say that most people with these ideologies are all accomplices. I believe this is a community movement. I believe this is a domestic terrorism, terrorist organization issue. I think that the feds have a really good case to bring in RICO on a shitload of these people. Anybody who had contact with him at all whatsoever prior or after this event that happened with Charlie Kirk, whether it was in a mass Discord group or a Reddit thread or any of that shit. And there's been a lot of people who have posted before it happened about wait till you see what happens at the Charlie Kirk tomorrow. Anyone who had any of that shit, they all need to be hemmed up. Conspiracy, RICO, whatever they need to do. Do I think that he directly knew him? We have no evidence of that. But, a lot of these people could have extended charges coming. Shayna, nobody needs to stop talking about Epstein ever. Nobody ever needs to stop talking about Epstein until every single survivor and victim has gotten justice. Nobody needs to. Don't give people shit for talking about Epstein. And not in my chat. That's open game until we know the truth. And I don't know that we ever will. Dominar said, don't need gun control and regulations. We need people control and regulations about guns. We need just a lot more people control, bro. Reopen the asylums. Overdrive Promotions. This community is the best. Keep up your good work. Love you, Overdrive. Appreciate you, man. And Gary's Metal Detecting said, stay in your lane, troll. Oh, you could get the binky. You did with the binky and the baba? And did the baby need a diaper? Sorry, I bought these custom-made pacifiers, and they're one of my favorite shits that I own, bro. JD hurt my feelings pacifiers. Roseman. Don't know if you've heard this yet, but they found Travis Decker. Wait, what? Is he alive? DeRoseman, is Travis Decker alive? They got his ass? Did they find him dead or no? Holy shit. Wow, thank you to Roseman. I appreciate you letting me know that. That's something we need to know. Daniel, what is a super chat? Well, it's where people do a donation to get a highlighted comment and they ask a question or make a statement, a comment, and then we discuss. Daniel Randall, I'm a former Chomo. My name is Daniel Ramiel. I'm on federal parole for CP. I've been rehabilitated, got my kids back. You got my address, punk. Come get me, punk. Noted, screenshotted. I don't feel like that dude is the dude he's saying he is. I feel like that dude's trying to get somebody fucked up on a dummy mission. And he's kind of a baby back bitch. In fact, I don't really like the dude at all whatsoever. I don't want chomos in my shit either. So whether I believe him or not, you're fucking gone, you weird fuck. Travis Decker is dead. That's kind of what I was expecting. Yeah, Skeptical Jesus. That's Dev 100% trying to send somebody to somebody else's house like a fucking weirdo. Seth said they thinking they found his remains. So for those of you who don't know, Travis Decker is the veteran that they believe killed his 3 daughters. And they believe they just, reports are saying they just found his remains. So, yeah, that's crazy. They have DNA back. Yes, it is him. Okay. Well, you know, it was only a matter of time until they found that dude. I'm not shocked that they found him dead and not alive.
And as we take a look at that, we were just, referring to the situation there where it does say anti-ICE. And you definitely just touched on this, but going a little bit further into all of that, what will investigators do with this right here to kind of work to figure out a motive, all of that? Again, you're seeing the words anti-ICE. We heard from investigators as they said that this was a, quote, act of targeted violence. They found the messages. So what do they do further by looking at this? Where does this kind of go from here?
Well, as I said, this investigation is in its infancy. There's going to be, if you look at how they're going to conduct this investigation.
Real quick, I want to jump in because Happy Camper said, how are Dems spinning this recent incident? And I've seen, Weeping said, I've seen people on TikTok saying he isn't a leftist. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to disown him. They're going to try to distance themselves from him, which is absolutely idiotic. And we all know that it's the tactic. It's the same thing that they tried with the Charlie Kirk shooter. Immediately, they're going to be like, he's a groyper. He's a MAGA. He's anything but us. When clearly, all the signs are there. There's a long-standing Facebook history of him posting their ideologies, but they're immediately going to distance themselves from it because they know that they're coming really close to the precipice of the find out stage. They continue to fuck around and they're coming real close to there's going to be federal charges. There's going to be roundups and people going to prison. They know that's the stage that they're at. So they're trying to hide from that. But it's not going to work because we're not the retards. The people that are independents, the people that are on the right, the people that are moderate blues are not the retards. It's these extremist Antifa left people that are the real life medically induced retards. So that's your answer right there, homie. Dano, not in the lion's den. What's up? It's on the heart today. Psalm 91:1. Also 144:1. Love you, brother. Torsted's Armory. Love you, JD. Currently debating Dems online with fat electrician style rants, bashing FDR for calling them out for their history. But I wanted to let you know I signed DEP papers. I ship out in July, United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! Hell yeah, bro. Dude, thank you so much for your service and your sacrifice. We love you. You will be in our prayers, homie. Huge support to you. Motor Rocker said, Riding on Bullets is a copycat of Charlie's Killer. Riding on Bullets is a copycat of Charlie's Killer, which is a copycat of that trans fucking weirdo who shot up that church school. This is their MO now. This is what they do. They write little meme edgelord bullshit on bullets, and then they go out and they fucking do horrific acts. That's exactly what the fuck they're doing now. And then they say, it wasn't one of us. It was a Nick Fuentes fan. It was a extreme right MAGA fucking soldier. No, it was one of you idiots. You fucking
First of all, there's going to be the forensic analysis. That's going to be the scientific approach to the scene itself. They're going to be gathering evidence. They're going to be looking for DNA that will be on those rounds on the rifle. They'll be looking at the scene itself to determine what evidence needs to be gathered. Now, remember, they're not looking at a prosecution for this individual because he's dead, but they will be looking to see, are there any other people that are involved in this targeted terrorist attack? Did this? I mean, nobody lives in a vacuum. We've seen this, play out many, many times. That people like this like to share the information. They're doing this because they want attention. They commit these acts of violence because they are trying to bring attention to their cause, and this is their statement. The fact that he wrote on these rounds, well, that's pretty clear that he's getting the message out. Now, determining who this individual is, they're going to be doing a deep dive into every aspect of this individual's life. They're going to be looking at his social media. They're going to be looking at any device that he has, his phone, his computer. They will be doing background investigation into who does he have relationships with? Is he living with someone? Did they know what this individual's plan was? Is he a loner? They're going to be doing a huge victimology on this individual and try and determine every aspect of this individual's previous life and try and determine how was he radicalized? What was his, will there be a manifesto found, as we have seen so often? The fact that this individual took his own life shows a degree of commitment, if you will, just like suicide bomber. They don't intend to survive this. And so, it's intrinsically part of their makeup that they're going to want people to know why. This is part of their MO, if you will, their makeup, that they want people to know why they committed this violence. And so it's going to be a deep dive into their every aspect of this guy's past life.
I want to get your expertise on this specifically. I know we keep talking about the bullet there. We have the round that says anti-ICE on it. We also know that just a few weeks ago here, we had the assassination of Charlie Kirk, where there was a message written on the bullets, actually several of them. So I wanted to get your take as far as copycat situations. Is it rare to see messages that are written there on the bullets, the casings, whatever have you? Or is that something that we, see often or don't see?
No, it's not something you see very often. So when you ask a very pertinent question, did this individual get that little tidbit of this assassination, this crime, by seeing Charlie Kirk's murderer do the same thing? It's a really good point. Usually
and I think we need to link this back further, because if you watch the video manifesto from that fucking trans weirdo who shot up those little kids at that school just right before the Charlie Kirk shooting, he did the same thing. So this isn't just a copycat of Charlie Kirk. This is becoming an MO. This is what these maggots do. Now I want to show you something real quick, because I just found this. I actually found a photo of this dude's corpse as well. I'm not going to show you the corpse photo because they're not going to let me show that on YouTube. Like right now, I actually have autopsy photos of Jeffrey Epstein, his corpse. I have shit that YouTube will never let me show. But I want to show you a photo of this Dallas shooter so that we can all see exactly who it is that we're talking about right now. I'm going to bring this up on screen. And there we go. There is the Dallas shooter. This is the dude who just went and did this. Now, this dude went out. Clearly, he's 29 years old. He's been posting Antifa and far leftist rhetoric on social media for years. They've already linked that. I've already seen some of the memes that he was posting. Far right or far left socialist Antifa style shit. But this is the dude. So he went out with a Mauser and he wanted to shoot ICE agents. He wrote anti-ICE on the shell casings and ended up shooting detainees, which is ostensibly, you can imagine, if you're not completely devoid of common sense, his goal was to help detainees, and he ended up killing at least one, possibly more. 2 were wounded. I haven't heard anything about whether or not they're still alive. Has anybody heard about whether or not the other 2 have made it or not? That photo smells like anime and Doritos. Facts, dude. Facts. So yeah, that's him right there. Circus Zero said, if you want to know about Antifa and their activities, look up Andy NGO. He's been reporting on them for years. Thank you. I'll be doing that. Quibbly Danger. Please catch me up, JD. I believe we just did, brother. Dano Not in the Lion's Den. Wood Chipper Gas Cash. Also, $2 tip for the dancing crew per session. We could easily get 100 through an hour, y'all. Bump up those numbers. Love you, brother. I appreciate you so much. Master Poopy. Because of the libs, I can predict the next president, 2028, JD Vance. 2036, Erica Kirk, and then Donald Trump Jr. after that. I think that they're absolutely killing any political prowess that they have, bro. I think that they're absolutely burying themselves. Gary's Metal Detecting said cases were planted to establish a link. Well, you know, they would have to have gone back years on his social media as well, because his social media has been found and is proven to have years of this Antifa, super leftist rhetoric, socialist fucking garbage. And remember, you guys, they call everybody who disagrees with them Nazis. But remember what Nazis actually were. They were the National Socialist Party. They were National Socialists. So these people preaching socialism but hating Nazis, you're fucking retarded, dog. Like, your brain is melted. You're all fucked up and you sound stupid as shit. Motor Rocker said, get a Locals or Rumble channel and post everything you can't show on YouTube over there. What I've been doing is I've been using my Patreon for that. So if you want to check me out on Patreon, it's JD Delay over there. And that's what I've been using to do that. Let's get back into this and see what we have going on over there. It's funny, I got a Patreon notification while I was talking about this.
It's a written manifesto. Usually there's notes written. They still have to determine whether or not they determine if there's something else out there. Just a couple words on a bullet doesn't really get his message out to any real degree. So this could have been an afterthought. This could have been done, prior to his coming to the scene, where he knew that he was going to leave this clip there with these bullets in it, so that the message could come out. But this shows the level of sickness that these individuals have, that they're willing to kill indiscriminately for their own, weird politicization and their hatred of ICE.
So Jesse California just said, it's so funny because JD Delay is old school anti-Nazi, but these are weirdos. 1000%, bro. I grew up going to punk rock shows and metal shows, and when people showed up with Nazi fucking shirts on and, swastikas and shit like that, we beat them the fuck up, dog. We beat them the fuck up. I fucking can't stand Nazis, but what these people are doing is they're mentally fucking retarded, bro. They have no idea what a Nazi is, and they're not a part of the movement that they think they're a part of. It's completely hypocritical. If I see a real life Nazi, bro, and they're out there doing Nazi shit, that's my op. But Antifa and what they are and what they stand for are also my fucking ops, because they're more fascist and Nazis than the real life Nazis that I see out there today. It's crazy.
We have seen, and keep this in mind. I have 34 years as a police officer, and the level of violence that we're seeing towards law enforcement directed towards them in a much more calculated fashion. The ambush killings of police officers has risen dramatically. But when you look at what these ICE officers are facing, the violence has steadily increased under the new methodologies being employed by ICE in order to rid this country of illegal aliens. But the incredible politics involved here, the rhetoric that is and the vitriol that's been spouted by even political leadership, where they basically have condoned violence towards ICE. You have actual elected officials who are condoning, not only condoning, they are putting out there in the public that it is okay. And this is frightening for law enforcement officers. In my role as the founder of the Wounded Blue, we deal with injured officers every single day. In fact, I am at a conference right now. I just not a half hour ago had a conversation with an officer who was ambushed and shot in the throat by an individual.
Hey, Bambi, you're being annoying as fuck. I don't know who Matthew Silverstone and Nikki Armstrong are. If you keep spamming that shit, you're going to get banned from the chat. Stop repeatedly leaving the same comment over and over and over again. I have zero idea who the fuck you're talking about. Stop it. You're welcome to stay as long as you stop doing that. I see it one more time and you're fucking gone.
And is alive to tell the tale today, but it devastated his life. So we see what's left behind of these officers who have been targeted, and it is very, very dramatic. The fact that ambush killings of law enforcement officers, the ambushes of these ICE officers who are literally simply doing the job that is being required of them.
And I want to put this in a little bit stronger terms as to what he's saying, because not only is this the job that is required of them, but this is the job that the majority of the people in this country voted to have done. The majority of the people in this country, we had a vote, it was democratic, and we said, we want this done. And they're carrying out the will of the people, the majority. And the minority is coming out and attacking them and trying to kill them for it. But they're retarded and they have zero aim and they're bad at violence, even though for some reason they say they want a war, even though they're bad at violence, and they're killing the people they're trying to protect. It's weapons grade stupidity, bro. Joshman said, should the hammer be brought down on Discord? They have allowed these extremist groups to communicate for a long time. Discord needs to be held accountable. Absolutely. Reddit as well. Absolutely. Bambi, so much for protecting the kids. If you don't know who Matthew Silverstone is, you're dumb as fuck and you're fucking gone. Because I'm not up on everything that you're up on. I don't care about protecting kids. You're a fucking retard. How does it feel not to be able to talk anymore because you couldn't conduct yourself in a civil manner in a fucking chat on something that we're not even talking about right now, you dumb bitch. Enjoy that. Torsted's Army. By the way, I'm on Patreon now, Bubba. I'll support the Wood Chipper Tribe anywhere. As an SA survivor, you're my hero, and that's why I joined to help people. Love you, Torsted's Army. Huge love and respect. Texas T. JD, they are aspirin babies. The leftist autism flows strong with them. I'm working on a full length right now about there's a new trend on TikTok where pregnant women are taking overdose amounts of Tylenol in rebellion against Donald Trump. They're owning Donald Trump by taking overdose amounts of Tylenol with a baby in their stomach. They're literally, Tylenol is not like, you can 1000% kill your whole entire fucking liver by abusing Tylenol. Take autism completely out of the picture. Take ADHD completely out of the picture. You can kill your liver with Tylenol. And that's why it's been considered one of the most dangerous over-the-counter drugs that's out there for literally decades. And Tylenol itself in 2017 came out and said, we do not recommend the use of Tylenol while you're pregnant. They literally said that from their own X page. I have the screenshots. So it's crazy that these women think that they're doing something while being pregnant and taking Tylenol. Man, Bear, Pig. Maybe they should start looking at groups of leftists who own German weapons who think they're turning them against the people they believe to be Nazis. I can't disagree with you, bro. Craig Jorgensen. Late to the live, did someone confirm the weapon type used? A Mauser. Odd to see a 5-round stripper clip like that these days. Thanks, man. Love you, homie. I appreciate you. WR said Democratic Party does a poor job policing their extreme members. No, they incite them. They want their extreme members. That is the strong arm of the left. These people that are mentally ill and unhinged, they incite them to do these things, bro. They're so inclusive and accepting that they have trouble calling out their own side. If you accept everything, you stand for nothing. Well fucking said, my guy. Well fucking said. Quibbly Danger said, off topic, but do you have a P.O. box? I'd love to send you 3D printed wood chippers. Oh, I would love that. I do have a P.O. box. Let me see if I can get that in the comments. Give me a second here, Quibbly. I love you and I appreciate you. Kevin Grayson said, Tom McDonald is right. The left can't aim. The right won't riot. They want us to come after them. Much love from deep Mississippi. And the thing is that we don't want political violence. They want political violence. We don't want political violence. We would be better at political violence than them. It's not in their best interest to incite us to violence, but they are trying. They're absolutely trying. Electric Ninja, breaking. Kirk Assassin's trans boyfriend has vanished on the lam or witness protection. So I had just seen that right before I jumped on the live here. I'm not sure. But we do know that the Kirk Assassin's boyfriend, trans Tifa boyfriend is now missing. So that is 100% accurate.
And it is shameful that you see elected officials not only condoning, but actually putting out in the public that this is okay.
What you're looking at there on the left-hand side of your screen, that is a live look over Dallas coming in from our Fox 4 Dallas station. And you can actually see there, I'm going to take it full to give you a better look at that. But that is the vehicle that officials believe is the suspect's vehicle. They have been seen going in and out, and it's parked right next to the staircase where that rooftop, it leads up to the rooftop, which is where it appears that those bullets were fired. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, Randy. When we talk about a sniper situation, as it's been described by officials there and investigators, how is that different when you have law enforcement, whether you're talking local law enforcement, state, federal, that are responding to a situation where it's not just an active shooter situation, but it is a sniper. It's someone who's on top of a building doing this.
Yeah, and the fact that they're using an elevated position makes it even more dangerous for law enforcement officers on the ground because you have a field of fire. That field of fire is, exponentially larger when you're up in an elevated position. The dealing with this now, local law enforcement, they receive training all the time, but usually that training is not focused on ambush attacks. It is something that has to now be put into the training repertoire of officers because we're seeing, a rise in these attacks. Military, personnel are trained in these type of incidents. Law enforcement is really not been focused on sniper attacks. However, with the the increasing number of ambushes that we have seen and the devastating effects. I mean, look at in Utah just a month ago, we had officers killed in an ambush attack. We had it just the other day with officers, another deadly 5 officers shot when entering a home on a domestic violence. So we're seeing a increasing number of these attacks, and law enforcement is sometimes slow to realize the threats and then train to deal with them. But it's really difficult to train from an ambush attack because you're conducting business when carnage rains down from a position that is distant. It is very, very difficult to train for that in some effective manner in order to save your own life and save the lives of others.
My mic was muted. I apologize. So somebody had said, I'm sorry, you guys. Somebody had said that is the government going to shut down? The government's not going to shut down. The government's going to crack down. The government is going to crack down, and we're going to start taking care of these pieces of shit. I apologize about the muted mic, you guys. The other thing I wanted to address was a commenter named Buster Hyman came in here and said, I heard sus shit about JD. First off, your name, Buster Hyman, is really fucking sus. That makes me think you like children. But you heard sus shit about me? That's from your dad, because I took my dick out of his throat and he really wanted it back in. And I told him no. So now he's talking shit. The worst thing that he ever did was not pull out and create you weird kitty loving fuck. You come in here with a name like that and you want to talk shit about me? Get all the way the fuck out of here, you weird ass bitch. I enjoy talking shit. You're not good at it. I am. Your dad's good at sucking shit though. So, that's probably where you got all fucked up. Bide said, hey JD, the 5-round clip matches SKS style rifle. Okay, that's good to know. Grumpy Ian, interesting a Mauser was used. Remember, 2 times is a coincidence. 3 times is a pattern. And we're seeing a lot of fucking patterns here, you guys. Jensen, last time this happened, we sent in a robot with C4 phone. I live in Dallas, Fort Worth. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't that way again. Well, this dude took himself out, which is crazy. Bring out the pacifier. Buster Hyman, you need a binky. You need a binky, baby, need a binky. JD, hurt your feelings. Give a little suckle. Oh, you want to wear it here? You suckle the teeth, Buster Hyman? We do the binky for you? Fuck that dude. Piece of shit. Let's see. In Texas T, what is up, sis? The left will blame pew-pews, yet my 12-gauge loaded, AR loaded, Kember 10 millimeter loaded has never ran outside and pew-pewed without anyone holding them yet. JD, no sound. I got the sound back on. 1,000%. 1,000%. This is not a gun problem. This is absolutely not a gun problem. This is the left inciting mentally ill people to go and commit acts of violence problem. And that's what we're seeing. And it is 1,000% a pattern at this point.
And again, you are looking at an aerial view here coming in from Skyfox. They are flying overhead. You can see folks are on that rooftop there, investigators. Obviously, it looks a lot different than it did around 6:40-ish this morning local time, as you had that whole row of police vehicles. We're talking about several agencies, local, state, federal. When you have a situation that takes place like this, who takes the lead? Is it automatically the federal agency there, especially considering it's an ICE facility where this happened?
Well, initially it will be local law enforcement because they are the ones those are the boots on the ground when it comes down to emergency response situations. So it would be the local police agency that they're the ones that are getting the 911 calls. Those are the ones that are trained to respond to these type of situations. Now, when it comes down to the investigative process, because this is targeted at a federal facility, without a shadow of a doubt, the FBI will play a major role in the investigative process here. Remember, we don't have a prosecution per se unless they make a determination that there are other people involved in this. Is there a conspiracy? That is something that they will be, delving into, in a major way.
So yeah, it's important to keep in mind that like the feds are not posted up everywhere waiting for these things to happen. So it's always going to be initially, it's going to be local law enforcement that gets there. And when the feds get there, the investigation is going to expand exponentially. Unwanted Ghost said it's hardly a conspiracy at this point. So this could be a lone shooter. We don't know. We really are going to have to wait until the feds get in there, dig in there, start seeing who was this dude talking to. A conspiracy is largely based on, communications. So who was this dude talking to? Did he let anybody know he was doing this? Was it instigated by other people? These are things that we're going to need answers to, and it'll be the feds that get all that stuff. Same thing as the Charlie Kirk shooting.
So this will be an investigative process in trying to determine all of the facets of this. And that investigative process may, because it was targeted at an ICE facility, could very well be given over to the FBI, Department of Justice, to complete the investigation.
As we move forward, my last question for you here, just based on your expertise there, we're talking decades in law enforcement, explain to me what question or questions that you have that you hope maybe we will get answers to, whether it's from Dallas police, the FBI, ICE, anyone out there regarding what happened today.
Oh, the first questions that I have is, who is this guy and why? Why did he become so radicalized that he's willing to commit his life to the taking of other lives? What motivated him to do this? And who played a role in that? Is this your lone wolf attack, or is this a conspiracy? Are there other people involved in this?
Exactly what I said. And I see a lot of people saying that Tony Gonzalez has said some new wild shit about Brandon Herrera. I don't see anything on Brandon's ex except maybe Tony Gonzalez should listen to the vice president when the vice president said, if you want to stop political violence, stop telling your supporters that everybody who disagrees with you is a Nazi. And that's very succinct and to the point. That's 100% right there. Let's listen to the rest of what this dude has to say.
And if so, was this part of an organized response? Was this part of an organized, criminal activity? Was he funded by someone to do this? These are the questions that I have. These are the questions that will be on the minds of any investigator that's there. And here's the other aspect of this. When you're looking at terrorism, what's the goal? And it is to terrorize. It is to strike fear into the hearts and minds of the people that he is targeting. That is ICE. So you look at the ICE officers that are around the country. and all of law enforcement, by the way, they're looking at this and they're going, okay, here's another ambush attack. Once again, they're going to be on a very heightened level of hypervigilance. This is, and here's why this is dangerous, because hypervigilance is what causes a lot of emotional and mental anguish for law enforcement. It is the base of post-traumatic stress. It is what creates post-traumatic stress injury. And you look at this prolonged atmosphere of violence towards ICE, towards law enforcement. And like I said, with the Wounded Blue, we look at physical and we look at emotional and mental injury. This is increasing the physical danger. It is increasing the emotional response, the possibility of being afflicted by post-traumatic stress. And this continues in the violence towards law enforcement, and the fact that it is being condoned by many in public office, and is something that we really need to address as a nation.
So we need to have the feds come in and address it, is my summation of this situation. Anybody who's actively inciting violence or telling people to in any way, shape, or form go after law enforcement, the feds need to come in. They need to hammer down on them. If you're inciting it, you need to go to jail. If you're a politician, I think politicians should have a higher level of accountability, because, bitch, you should know better. AOC should know better. Omar should fucking know better. These people who are doing this shit should have a higher level of accountability, because they're a part of the system. They should know better. Just like I think when cops break the law and they get convicted, they should be held to a higher standard. They're cops. They have no fucking excuse. They should fucking know better. Do you guys agree with that? And then anytime we have any of this type of shit go on, we need to go in, we need to search through their socials. We need to see anybody who they were conversing with that was inciting this type of shit, and they need to go to jail too. Johnny Wolf said, we need a president with a beard. Let's fucking go. You know who would be great president? Is Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera would be a great fucking president, man. Dominic said, the Tylenol thing is so dumb. One of my best friends died of an overdose, not because of the painkillers, but the Tylenol. The Tylenol killed her liver, and that is exactly what I'm saying. So a lot of people will get addicted to opioids that have buffers, like an acetaminophen buffer, and it will absolutely destroy your liver. Especially if you guys are drinking and you're mixing any type of, you drink and then you have a hangover and you take Tylenol, I'm telling you, you're destroying your fucking liver. And if you've ever seen somebody who was dying from liver damage, it is so horrific, dude. So horrific. Texas T, yeah! The left wants a gun list. How about adding checkbox to the 4473 NICS political party? If you lie, you lose your right. This will track lefties' violence. Just like you question on drugs on the 4473, lie, you lose. I don't know that I'm into restricting anybody's gun rights, just personally. I don't think there's precedent for any sort of political disqualifying people. I'm really into the Constitution. I'm really into what the Constitution says. I'm more of a constitutionalist, and I don't believe that there's any precedent for being able to take anybody's gun rights away. I do understand if somebody is deemed mentally incompetent. So I think anybody who's Antifa, you could go in, you could 5150 them, involuntarily commit them to a 72-hour mental health hold and determine whether or not they are a danger to themselves or others. Anybody who leans into these ideologies, and if it's found that they're a danger to themselves or others, then yes, there is constitutional historical background to be able to take their Second Amendment rights away. But outside of that, I think it's a really slippery slope, because hear me out on this, Texas T. So we do this now while we've got somebody in office who stands on the side of common sense. But say 3 years from now, Gavin Newsom is in office. who's going to lose their rights then? Once you start taking away people's constitutional rights, it's such a slippery fucking slope, man. And it can always be turned back on people in negative ways. Ike Pegsmarth, all with love. Since you updated your color science, your audio is noticeably delayed by about 5 frames. My Atmos recorder does that by default. It's an easy fix if that's what you're using. Message me if you'd like help. Dude, thank you so much, dude. Does my audio delayed right now? Does my audio seem delayed right now? Yeah, that would suck, bro. I'm hoping that my audio isn't delayed. Thank you. I'm going to take a really good look at that. I appreciate you offering to help so much, homie. That means a lot to me. So some people are saying yes. Ike says about 1/5 of a second. Okay. I'm going to be taking a look at it because I could go and watch this in the playback and take a look at it. I really appreciate you bringing that to my attention. You guys, I've been on here for about 2 hours. I'm going to be jumping off. So far, let's just recap really quickly. This dude went out with the intention to kill ICE agents. This dude wanted to kill ICE agents, assumably because of the leftist ideologies and the shit that he was posting on social media, because he's against any sort of deportations. What he ended up doing while on a roof with a rifle, there's a little bit of back and forth on what type of rifle, whether it was a Mauser, whether it was an SKS, what it was. There's a little back and forth on that. I'm sure that once the feds get in there and they start releasing information, we're going to have a better idea of exactly what the fuck is going on. But right now, we know that he had a rifle. We know that he fired into an ICE transportation van. He hit 3 detainees. 1 was instantly dead. 2 we're not sure about. They were hit. They were wounded. They may be dead. They may be okay. He hit 0 ICE officers. 0. He failed epically and all the way across the board. Then he ended himself. This is a tragic loss of life for the detainees. This is a tragic loss of a feeling of safety for all of those that were involved. Imagine being there because you were just awaiting to see what's going on with your immigration status and you're on a van and somebody just starts sniping at you. I feel bad for the ICE agents. I feel bad for all the other detainees that were there. And I feel bad for this dude's family. This dude's family, regardless of if it was his choice or whatever, clearly he went and did this cowardly fucking disgusting act. So he deserves not to be on the planet. His family didn't deserve that. And that shit's sad. Texas T said, Erica Kirk should run for president with Donald Trump's son as VP, Barron Trump, Kirk and Trump 2028. I think, honestly, I don't think that you're going to be able to stop JD Vance in 2028. I really don't. I think Erica Kirk might make a great VP choice pick. Conservatives, Republicans, they've never had a female VP. I think if they put Erica Kirk in there, I think you'd get a lot of people to vote. I think there'd be a lot of people that would be out there voting. I really do. Adam Wolford. Sorry, but I vote for Fat Electrician because it will be funny. Think how he would twist off on some of these world leaders. I would love to see Nick in there, bro. Imagine Nick walking in and throwing down binders and being like, bitch, you triggered my autism. You're about to get fucked. That shit would be amazing. Harmless Ghost said, forgiving means to be cool or just deal with your opposition without stooping to their level. Well, forgiveness is a more complex thing than being cool with people. I've forgiven the person that molested me when I was 6 years old because I didn't want to carry that resentment and that hatred and that anger anymore, because that means that that person has a place inside of me, and I didn't want that. Forgiveness can just be about letting it go and not carrying it with you anymore. You don't have to be cool with the person. I would never be cool with the person who molested me when I was 6 years old. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you carry space for them to be around you or in your life. It just means that I'm not allowing this to have space with me anymore. A lot of the time, there's forgiveness is probably more like a spectrum, like autism or, being a liberal. There's a spectrum with it. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to see you guys real soon because there's going to be a whole lot going on that we're going to need to talk about. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Thank you to everybody who did supers. You guys literally are my social circle. You guys are the people that I hang out with. I don't go out and do things. I just come on live and I chalk shit up with y'all. And you guys are amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. One love. Be good or be good at it.